Now, this is very important as we watch on your screen. Alex Salmon spinning around there from our blimp cam in this qualifying session. Not going to get in a faster lap there for sure, but this qualifying session is so important today, absolutely crucial because of the points at stake, and we're going to take a look at the points here in just a minute. So we try to find one of these drivers who is actually out on the track right now, putting in laps. Currently, your fastest driver, as we get our information up on the screen. In fact, we'll take a look at it this way. As we get our tower up there, you can take a look. It is David Soranzo, frequent fast driver and high finisher in the Prime Meridian Racing League, who is currently on pole position. Kind of a shocker at 1:17.26 his time thus far. So we'll see whether David can hang on to that lap time and hang on to the pole position. But as I mentioned, it is a very crucial point for that pole position because the points are very, very close for first and second. And if Alex Salmon, who's currently in second place in the points in the series, is going to have any chance at taking the championship from Will Lyon, who currently leads, it's going to have to be starting to circle these bonus points, and one of those available is for pole position today. So as we watch Will Lyon circulate, currently 5th place, the 1:17.31 thus far. Now take a look back over at our other championship contenders at the moment. The primary one would be Alex Salmon. It's currently shown second. And again, it's not just about getting a high qualifying position just for the points. Of course, that would be excellent if Alex could take maybe an extra 1 point or so for this pole position. But you also want to start up front so that you can avoid any sort of accidents in the mid-pack or back of the pack, not have to work as hard to come through the field. All of these things are going to be difficulties if you have to start from the back today. It will cost you time. So we watch Alex Salmon continue to circulate. And last time by, it was a 1:17.50. So we'll take a look here at, we do have the best time up there, so you can see it on your screen. There's 17 minutes to go remaining in this session. So still time for anybody to get in a fast lap. We have a number of great drivers on the track at the moment. So we'll take a look at some of the other drivers out there. Adam Gleason joining us this week. Pleasure to have Adam on board with us, and currently sitting in 3rd spot. So with David Soranzo also back out on track, seeing a couple of names up at the top of the order here that we're not necessarily used to seeing. Take a look at this driver, also racing for SMS Racing, Will Lyon's teammate Matthew Levine, having great finishes as of late, supporting that SMS Racing team and getting them up into the team championship. Of course, team championship also being calculated here, part of the Prime Meridian Racing League. And that is a tight battle as well, as you can imagine. It's between the two teams representing Will Lyon and Alex Salmon. Again, we'll take a look at the points here in just a minute. Take a look over at Connor Pearson. And Connor's had a bunch of great runs thus far this season, frequently up in the front, absolutely fighting for wins continually. But Connor right now, 6th place. Very good qualifying effort thus far from the Wyvern Racing with O'Connor Moore driver. And then we get back to Andreas Ike, currently in 7th place. Now, Andreas is one of those drivers in this field who actually has a chance to win the championship, but is a little bit too far back. So this qualifying session right now, not quite. I mean, it would be really difficult. I was doing the math ahead of time, and so it looks like Ike would need both Lyon and Salmon to finish 13th or lower, and Ike would have to win this race. That's not to even talk about the bonus point situation, which might make it even more difficult, but It's a long stretch, but I could, in fact, take this championship. So, but either way, what a great driver to have in this series, frequently finishing up at the top of many of the results lists of any races that I ever see Andreas in. And currently running third in the championship, just primarily just due to the consistent finishes that he's managed to put in this season. So he'll have his work cut out for him to try to defend that third place in the championship, as you'll see in a minute, as it's quite close. But just as we were off camera looking at Andreas Eick, Will Lyon, your points leader, and trying to take that first season championship here for Prime Meridian Racing League. Will has now taken pole position provisionally with a 1:17.06. Will having put in 10 laps thus far, among the most of anybody out here. So Will working on another one. Looks like sector 2 time was pretty fast that time. So Will can get this one a little bit faster. Best time of 1:17.06, just 1/100th of a second faster than David Soranzo, so very close there. Will not able to go any faster, of course, bringing it there into the pits. No, I take that back. It's not going to be Will Lyon. Soranzo, David Soranzo, on camera right now at the moment, is your new pole sitter provisionally, just as Will Lyon had taken the position from Soranzo. Now comes back. Soranzo does the French driver and clips Will Lyon. So again, those bonus points are super important for the championship contenders. Obviously, Will would not want Alex Salmon, who's now third place provisionally on the grid, would not want Alex Salmon to get the pole position, and vice versa. So keep your eyes on these drivers, Will Lyon and Alex Salmon. We'll just watch and see where they end up on the grid today. But Connor Pearson now taking over second place after that lap. Looks like doing maybe a little drafting work with teammate Sam Blackwood up in front. Always helpful to have a partner that helps you get that draft down those long straights. Maybe wants to work a little swap drafting in, and that's one of the cool things that that you can actually do here in the Prime Meridian Racing League. As we start getting closer down to our 10-minute mark of what's left, you can. This is group qualifying format, at least this season, for the Prime Meridian Racing League on road courses. Of course, on ovals, it's solo qualifying. And that's an 8-minute session, just the same as regular iRacing. So we watch Connor Pearson as he spins. Pearson obviously will not get in a faster lap that time, but that's okay. Pearson already sitting second, as you see. Alex Salmon go sliding by. Now, in the meantime, Matthew Levine has moved up into the 4th spot, now having picked Alex Salmon for that spot. So Salmon sliding a little bit back here. Of course, third row's not going to be much of a problem to get past that. A couple of other drivers in our field today out there doing some qualifying runs. Mark Johnston. Mark had put up hosted a session a little bit before the race today for some of the other competitors. Always cool to see drivers taking an interest in the league and you know, going a little bit outside the box as far as participation, etc. Of course, we have, we were just mentioning Andreas Eick, and then here's Sam Blackwood back in 9th place at the moment. Always sending us new liveries each week. Hopefully that looks right for you, Sam. Looks good. Looks good from where I'm sitting. and Sam, Sam from Airdrie, and you know, again, just one of these drivers that if Sam happened to get up there on the podium or win today, it would not be a shock. Has shown lots of speed both on ovals and road courses. Here's another driver that you just don't know where he's going to finish, and it's Michael Grossberger. So Michael having some great finishes this season, actually just running better than his actual finishes have shown. So another one of those drivers that we look to see part of that TM Racing, Taylor Mills Racing, and here is the namesake behind Taylor Mills Racing, Taylor Mills, who showed up and did exactly one race with us at Pocono, and she managed to win. So a 1-for-1. If it were me, I'd probably quit after that. I mean, 100% win record, it's got to go in the history book somewhere. But Taylor electing to come back, we so appreciate that. Love seeing the level of competition, and I hope I got that right on the bottom. It's 2021 Season 2 European Endurance Champion Taylor Mills. So I hope I got that season correct down there, but just talks a little bit about some of the capabilities of a driver like Taylor, who's out there in a bunch of different series and able to win and kind of move around laterally between cars. Really talented driver, and obviously fighting for wins, fighting for top positions, and somebody that you should always circle, especially on ovals, but clearly also a road course dynamo. So we take a look also at Christian Malkarek. And Christian driving for Last Lap Motorsports, the sole driver for Last Lap in the field. Get down to 8 minutes to go in the session. Christian, again, just having great runs, up in the lead at Auto Club at our last race. And just not able to capitalize on that and get a win. Of course, last week, the thrilling finish with Thomas Christensen coming through. Of course, speaking of Thomas Christensen, yeah, so that race was insane, and I suggest that if you haven't caught the end of that race, which of course most of you who are watching probably have, but if you have not, you've got to go back and see it. It's one of the most exciting ends to a race I have personally been able to witness on iRacing. Just one of those classic finishes. And Thomas Christensen, an oval master on the last lap. Well, I won't spoil it too much, but let's just say he started the lap in 5th and he won the race. So Thomas Christensen joining us over in the YouTube chat room. It's a bummer that Thomas was a little busy today. We're going to try to get him into the booth for a minute. We might have another couple of drivers stop by today, and that will be something cool that we can do over the next season as well, being able to bring in some more drivers, etc., into the booth and be able to get some of their point of view as well. But enough about Season 2. We've got 7 minutes of qualifying left for the final round of Season 1. And we're taking a look at some of the other drivers here. We've got Jesper Orman, again, another oval master, getting out there and getting some laps in on road courses. And I know this is something that a number of these oval, especially the oval IndyCar masters, are really trying to focus on, is trying to get the road courses figured out, because it's about trying to win an IndyCar championship, unless you're in a league that only has ovals, is generally about being or of course the Oval Fix series, of course, would be mostly ovals as well. But if you're talking generally as an IndyCar driver or the real life IndyCar series, it is really a balance between road courses, which of course encompasses street courses as well and temporary circuits, but also ovals. So you've got to be a balanced driver if you say want to win the Open Series on iRacing, or if you want to win another league such as the PMRL, which has a split between the oval races and the road course races. So yeah, you've got to you have to improve if you want to be able to master the overall IndyCar championships that feature both of those types. And Jesper is certainly, as you can see there, P13 in the Indy 500 2021. That is just, it's so difficult to pull that off. I know it says P13, but you got to imagine that there were 1,500 people or 2,000 people that qualified for that event. So that is just astounding. But Jesper, one of the heads there at Three Crowns Racing, just working on his racecraft out here today. So it's great to see him. He's currently qualified 13th, and we may see more from Jesper as the weeks go on. Mark Hutchinson currently sitting in the pits there in 14th, the Irish driver racing for Evo SR. Once again, working on the craft. And there's Danny Brennan. Glad to have Danny back in. I heard that Danny had some a medical issue with burn feet or something along those lines. I don't know what the story is, but looks like Danny's back in the cockpit of the Dallara IR18 and ready to do some battle out there right now in 15th. But we'll see whether Danny can move forward. Also, another driver that has yet to put in a time is Magnus Anderson for Slow and Steady Racing. We'll see whether that can happen. So as we go back and we take a look on track here, we've got David Soranzo currently in first place with that stunning lap, a 1:16.95, and that is only 4/100ths of a second faster than Connor Pearson's 1:16.99. Both of these drivers are the only two drivers in the 16s. Then you've got Will Lyon right in front of teammate Matthew Levine, Sam Blackwood, and Alex Salmon then 5th and 6th. Adam Gleason, Andreas Eick, Mark Johnston, Michael Grossberger are your top 10 at the moment, as you can see there on your ticker. So while we await the end of qualifying here, as most drivers have gotten in their fastest laps, why don't we go ahead and pull up those points so that we can know what we are looking at for today. We just got to get the rest of this junk off of the screen. So first we'll take a look at the individual driver championship, and there you can see it, plain and simple. Will Lyon staying in the lead. In fact, top 4 positions staying the same. Andreas Eick in 3rd, as I mentioned. Technically a championship contender here today, could take the win, but would need some real help from Will Lyon and Alex Salmon. So then Salmon, having done the math here, I'm going to give you a breakdown in a minute and what they'll need to do. You can see a number of drivers such as Connor Pearson moving up. Still a lot of movement. Jesper Orman with a great finish last week, moving up in the standings. So all of that definitely helping their cause. But we'll take a look now at the team standings. And this as well, a very tight battle between SMS and TM Racing, so we'll keep an eye on that battle. 3rd right now is Wyvern Racing with O'Connor Moore, and that, again, I don't expect that Wyvern will be able to catch the top 2, but it's pretty competitive there in the middle, and we may see a number of those teams move around in that 4th through 8th position, or sorry, through 7th position there. Any one of those teams could definitely move around. As we go back and take a look again at our ticker here, and you can see we really haven't missed anything. David Soranzo currently 1st, still has not improved that time. In fact, looking through the field, does look like Alex Salmon was just 4/100ths of a second that time slower than Alex's fastest lap, but still not able to put in a faster time. So we watch these drivers continue to try to circulate. In the meantime, why don't we take a look at some of our onboard cameras here, get a feel for what we're going to be looking at in the race as we get under a minute to go here in qualifying. We watch the top. No changes thus far as Alex continues to circulate. So going back to square one, some improvements that we're doing here, VirtualRacing.Network. As you see Alex Salmon's onboard camera, he lights off what will be the final qualifying lap for Alex Salmon, your current 2nd place in the points. Also, Will Lyon is on track, Matthew Levine, David Soranzo, both of them on track at the moment. Will Lyon just starting, actually just coming up on about halfway through that final lap right now. David Soranzo over 3/4 of the way through that final lap. So we'll watch and see as these drivers go through. We're also pleased to bring you, for the first time, our cockpit camera. This is our new visor cam. We'll continue to work on this camera, but it gives you a direct sight straight from Alex Salmon's point of view. This is how it looks to race in this Dallara IR18 IndyCar. Get a moment to just feel what it is like to be on a fast lap with Alex Salmon trying to get that pole position. Take a look at those sectors. What are we looking at here? We do see we possibly see a green sector, but it does look like sector 2 was much slower. So I think Alex is just going to be bringing this one in, and Alex unfortunately spinning there just as we were about to cut. But so cool that we were able to get those cameras. You'll see much more from us here at VirtualRacing.Network in the weeks to come. We still finish, we've got Will Lyon. I'm not sure if this is a flyer. Well, there Will goes off, so it's not a flyer anymore. Taylor Mills, I think, is also done with her lap, or she might just be finishing this lap. Let's take a look on board here. Nope, just bringing it into the pits. So Mills is all done, and that's going to finish it up for the group. In a moment, we will have your starting grid for today's race. Again, my name's Trevor Greenfield, so happy to have you joining us here on VirtualRacing.Network as we get set to do 69 laps of battle here at Interlagos in the finale for the Prime Meridian Racing League. We just wait for this one to finish up and go official, and as soon as it does, we'll get a chance to show it to you. As you can tell, David Soranzo getting that pole position and also getting that crucial bonus point. Now, Alex Salmon really kind of wanted that bonus point, that is for sure. Unfortunately, didn't quite work out, and so going to have to work that much harder to try to take this this championship from Will. So, here is your final qualifying results. And as I said, David Soranzo with an astounding qualifying effort. Fantastic from the French driver, putting in the pole position and stealing that bonus point. That will actually help in that points championship. He's fallen down a little bit as of late with some incidents. Second, of course, you can see Connor Pearson. So then starting on the second row, your championship leader, Will Lyon. As the cars start to take to the grid. Actually, excuse me, they're not going to be gridding. I always forget this. They have the warm-up session in the Prime Meridian Racing League, just the same as the real-life IndyCar series. So we'll get another couple of minutes to talk about the starting order. Will Lyon starting third, as I mentioned, on the second row, and then you'll have Matthew Levine starting fourth, Alex Salmon and Sam Blackwood then starting on row 3, with Adam Gleason, Andreas Eich on row 4, Mark Johnston and Crossberger there on row 5. Then Christian Malkorek starting 11th today, 12th Taylor Mills. See if she can do something on a road course this time. Seems to be more of her specialty, but she showed up and took Pocono, so you can't really say that she's a specialist. She's got talents on both sides. We'll see if it comes out today. Jesper Orman working on those road course skills. We'll see if the Oval Master can do something today here at Interlagos as well. And then Mark Hutchinson, Danny Brennan, and then you see also no time for Magnus Anderson. And I'm not sure if Magnus will start. We don't show that Magnus put in a qualifying lap, and we're not showing Magnus out there for this session either. So switch over and take a look at Danny Brennan in the background. And Danny parked just, I believe that's off of the backstretch there. So I've done some complicated math here, and we'll go over that. Take away the starting grid. But right now in this session, not a single driver has put down a lap. So this pretty much being, test out your your race setup, maybe test the black tires since you do need to run both reds and blacks in this session, in the race. And then also practice your pit in, pit out procedure, very crucial to saving the time on the track. Go down and take a look. We'll just watch from Sam Blackwood's camera here. You can see Sam possibly dive into the pits. And now watch. Nope. Actually didn't dive into the pits, but that's kind of part of it. You're following another driver. Maybe they do pull into the pits. You've got to make a split-second decision to pull in, not pull in. And then how much time is lost on the approach to the official start of pit lane. And so all of this, all of that timing and getting that exactly right, this is a big focus as of the last, I would say, 20, 25 years, especially with Michael Schumacher. Certain drivers really starting to pay attention to those details and understanding how much time can be won or lost by your entry and your exit of the pits, as looks like Danny Brennan and Sam Blackwood having a coming together there. And unfortunately for them, it means they're going to reset back to the pits, not able to complete that one and get in whatever kind of test program Sam wanted to run ahead of time. And you can imagine possibly with Danny Brennan just coming back behind the wheel this week, possible technical setup issues and things like that. I know for me it's always a procedure to get everything all set up, not just for broadcasting obviously, but even when I'm going to race. Last night I did a league race for a different league in an IndyCar, and there's just so much to get going right and to get configured right and set all of your settings again if you have to reset all of that kind of stuff. So a lot of technical junk, to be honest with you, keeping everybody from just sitting down at a computer with a racing wheel and some pedals and going out there and challenging in iRacing. But here we go, finally qualifying over, warm-up over, and just 69 laps to decide the finale, the first ever champion of the Prime Meridian Racing League. And again, just so pleased to have you joining us here on VirtualRacing.Network. Give us a shout over in the chat room if you're watching. Of course, you can't chat. Of course, you can't chat if you're just watching it embedded over on Twitter or one of the other places on Discord. I know I posted it over in the IndyCar Discord and other places. So if you're watching it there, we do have chat going in the chat room. I see Gail H joining us. And, you know, part of the PMRL show and permanently part of the VirtualRacing.Network broadcast is going to be the track map. And Gail is she's thrilled when we throw that track map up there on the screen. It's an exciting thing, and you can certainly understand why. So get down. No, it's so great to have these tools to be able to show you where everyone is on the track. So we take a look here at David Soranzo, your pole sitter, who will lead us to the green flag alongside of Connor Pearson. What an exciting moment it must be for Soranzo, who has been so fast all season, but had numerous drivers who managed to be just a little bit faster here, a little bit faster there, and not able to get that top finish in the series that I'm sure David's been looking for. Now taking pole position, that's one off of the bucket list. So we do about a half a lap of pace here. And I hope you're enjoying the feed over there. Hopefully it looks really good. I apologize if it's maybe a little choppy or anything like that. It should straighten out perhaps on the start. This is really cutting edge what we're doing here, folks, bringing you the finale here in crystal clear 4K ultra high definition, stretching the limits of your television and computer screens and our computing and network capabilities as we get ready for David Soranzo, Connor Pearson, and your championship leaders, Will Lyon and Alex Salmon, to get this one rolling. It's like the butterflies start happening in the stomach. Everybody side by side, getting ready, thinking of where you're going to go in turn one. We wait for that Porsche pace car to pull off, and we'll watch.
Green, 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 green.
As we go green, it's Soranzo, actually Pearson now ahead, leading to turn 1. SMS teammates side by side, and down the inside comes Alex Salmon in a horrible crash. It's a horrible crash for Alex Salmon, the championship contender, destroying the car, and it looks like both SMS teammates taken out in the same crash. I can't believe what I'm seeing. It's astonishing. I don't know what to say.
Yellow.
We are yellow, and we'll go back up to the front, and we'll take a look at David Soranzo, who will now slow down for the caution. We are under the first caution of the day. Soranzo in first, Pearson in second, Andreas Eick now in third place. And the scenario that we said couldn't happen is happening. Alex Salmon with that crash is now in 14th. And also Will Lyon in 15th place. I know there will be tempers flaring after this one. Let's just hope the drivers can get everything repaired. Let's take a look. Will Lyon dragging pieces around the track. Spinning out. He knows he has to get to that pit lane. His championship hopes are in shambles. Let's get the track map up there. Not just for Gale, but it's useful that we can tell where everyone is at. This is your championship leader, Will Lyon, sitting on pit road, damage to the side pod, and we'll see how fast Will can get that one fixed. In the meantime, Alex Salmon and Matthew Levine just ahead. Levine for SMS Racing and Alex Salmon for TM Racing. Both of these drivers with damaged vehicles. We will go and take a look in a moment. I don't know. It looks like Matthew Levine not coming into the pits. I don't know why that would be. But either way, Salmon now coming into the pits to get that damage repaired and catch a breath and try and figure this one out. And we'll do the same. Let's take a look at the start and see if we can tell from Alex's point of view exactly what happened, though I think we do know what happened. So let's take a look. That was just a little bit too far forward. We'll watch from the green flag. As the green flag flies, how does it all go so terribly wrong into turn 1? Alex Salmon first looks to the outside, following directly behind Will Lyon, then sees an opportunity inside, comes in so hot and has to jam on the brakes, hold tires, perhaps a little bit of rear lockup, and that car just went right around. We'll take one more look at it from overhead, look from the blimp cam, and we'll slow it down as we get closer. Oh, and we can see also in the back, Mark Johnston. In fact, let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at that one more time, because there was an incident that we missed in the back. We can see Mark Johnston moving ahead, and then Christian Malkorek there in the blue and white car in the middle of your screen will have an incident. I do see Danny Brennan blinking out a little bit. It looks like Johnston slowed a little bit. We'll back that up just one more time because I couldn't quite get a clear look at it. But it really does look like Johnston just gets backed up, and then Malkorek, there in the blue and white car, they make contact coming to the green flag, and then here Alex Salmon down the inside. I think once you get that close to turn 1, trying to make it 3 wide and dive down the inside of Soranzo was just not going to work. And Salmon did a little pull the ripcord procedure, and tried the ultimate braking test, and it just didn't work out. And unfortunately, what we're looking at out there is, in fact, drivers, back to the green here, go back to the live picture. So what you're looking at, unfortunately, for the SMS racing drivers, as now we're getting some pit stops from some drivers. We've got Matthew Levine exiting the pits, and Magnus Anderson did make a start. off that roll bar camera. Magnus Anderson did make the start. We'll get credit for some laps and get some points. Mark Johnston looks like has damage been repaired. Christian Malkorek able to get that damage repaired as well. So all good there. Looks like Alex Salmon has all of the pieces back on. Unfortunately, your championship leader, Will Lyon, is sitting on pit road and now leaves pit road. So this is a live picture that you're looking at. Will leaves pit road and will have time to catch up. Unfortunately, Will is now 2 laps down. So this will greatly complicate the picture here. And the way that this will work, as far as penalties after this, let's just say that there was a penalty assessed. It will not affect the overall outcome in terms of repositioning a driver, such as maybe if it was felt that Will Lyon was put at a disadvantage because of another driver or something along those lines, which I'm not sure that's what happened. But if it were, even so, even if there was a penalty applied, that would not really change Will Lyon's finishing order. So Will is going to have to do all of the hard work now to not only rescue this race, but if Alex Salmon, who is on the lead lap, can get up into 3rd place or above, this now becomes Alex Salmon's championship. And again, we will have to wait for the penalty points to be applied at the end of this one before we would crown Alex a champion based off of what just happened. But again, there may be other things to explain it, and we are not the stewards here at VirtualRacing.Network. I mean, yes, a shocker. Thomas and Gail over in the chat room letting us know it's a shocker, but I mean, this happens at all levels of racing. It happens in the real-life IndyCar series. So we're going to do another lap here under the safety car. See a couple of drivers bringing it in. We've got Jesper Orman now coming down onto pit road, as well as Magnus Anderson. But, yeah, it happens in every form of racing. Of course, it also happens over in the fixed series. It happens in the open series. I mean, you just get used to incidents on lap 1. But the drivers in this series being so talented, we haven't really seen anything like that at all this season in the broadcasts that we've been doing. So let's just take a minute and recap where we're at. I'm going to take another look at our complicated math so that I can give you kind of a heads up on where things need to finish up, because at the moment, if Salmon has another problem or is assigned a major penalty for any reason, Andreas Ike is currently in 3rd place. Now, Ike, I'll have to do extra math on, but if Ike were to finish in 1st, I believe we would need Salmon to finish in 13th, and of course Will Lyon is currently stuck a couple of laps down, so he would need both of those drivers to finish 13th or further back. The lights are out on the pace car, so the next time around we will get a chance to go green here. Now, let's take a look at the actual points picture between Alex and Will. So Alex Salmon came in 18 points down from Will. The way that this would need to work is if Will finishes in 10th, Alex would need to finish in 3rd or better. But if he finished in 3rd, he'd also need 4 bonus points to take the championship. If they were to tie, the championship would actually go to Will Lyon based on 3rd place finishes as a tiebreaker, because Will has more 3rd place finish, has 1 3rd place finish where Alex Salmon does not. And they're tied on wins, they're tied on 2nd place finishes. Then it comes to if Will, now of course, that would be if Will finished in 10th. We start subtracting from there, and I believe it's about 3 points. So it'd make it, if Will were to finish in 13th, Will were to finish in 16th, that would be 6 more points down. And then you would just say that it would be 6 points easier for Alex Salmon to win. So I'll give you a lot more of that as this race continues to develop and we go back under green here. Once the pace car will pull in. But suffice to say, we still have a championship battle on our hands, and it is very, very possible that Andreas Eick could still end up your champion here for PMRL, starting in 3rd. Here we go again. David Soranzo, Connor Pearson, and Andreas Eick will lead us back to the green flag. We'll go under the stands. And this time, not much of a problem. Sam Blackwood and Andreas Eick side by side, a little bit more side-by-side action as Taylor Mills has crept up there into the 5th spot. Good for her, getting some more road course experience here in the IR18 IndyCar in the PMRL. But up in front, it's Connor Pearson trying to chase down Soranzo. Soranzo looking for his first victory here in the series. Take a look out the back, a new camera for us here on VirtualRacing.Network. Try to get a little bit more real with these cameras and line them up with the real thing in IndyCar. Gives you a little bit better of a perspective of the back of the car and some of the livery, as well as you see Sam Blackwood back there, or excuse me, Connor Pearson back there trying to fill the mirrors a little bit of David Soranzo. So Soranzo continuing here, and we see there is another problem. Mark Johnston having an issue. This was just braking for the corner, and it looked like we may have had a touch there. Let's go back and watch one more time, as it looks like Jesper Orman coming in close. And you can see making contact there. We'll back it up once again. And indeed making contact, I think, not really expecting, getting a run as it gets a little bit stacked up into the corner, and then Johnston, you can see, kind of diving to the outside. A fairly normal, there's a couple of different racing lines that you can take coming into this corner, either in a mid, an early, or an outside, a late apex. And so there you see Johnston spinning around. And I don't know if, did not collect Magnus Anderson. So, but we go back to the live picture, and it is Connor Pearson who has just gotten around David Soranzo, because why not? We go watch a replay, and we got to create another replay. So here we go. Pearson passing David Soranzo down that long back straightaway. We might be seeing a lot of that today with push to pass. Connor Pearson burning the push to pass there. Get that one done. Back to the live picture, and Pearson currently in the lead by a little bit of a gap. Last time putting in our fastest lap of 1:17.91. Faster than everybody by quite a bit. We'll see how that stabilizes over the race. So this battle raging on for this lead at the moment, as Connor Pearson and David Soranzo, both drivers that, as I had mentioned ahead of time, had really circled ahead of time. I really feel like these drivers could win here today. And it's amazing that they are now 1 and 2. And then this driver, Connor Pearson, teammate of Connor Pearson's teammate at Wyvern Racing with O'Connor Moore, there Sam Blackwood running in 3rd spot. Taylor Mills currently running in 4th spot. Again, this is just not what we thought we would be calling due to that first lap incident. But all of these drivers having a great race. I doubt a lot of them really thought that they were going to be up into these spots at this moment, but here's an amazing opportunity for them. So Adam Gleason there in 5th, looking great at top 5 potential, up 2 spots. Taylor Mills, I should tell you, up 8 spots today. Just an amazing talent she is. There is Michael Grossberger, up 4 spots himself in 6th space, 6th spot. Fantastic drive going that way. Matthew Levine has pulled it together on the lead lap after that incident. You see some jockeying around behind. Mark Hutchinson and Alex Salmon, as well as Andreas Eick just behind. Here's Salmon making a move down the outside of Hutchinson. Salmon trying to come forward in a hurry and get those points ahead of Will Lyon. I mean, Salmon knows the job that needs to be done out here today. Knows that Alex knows they don't really have control over what's going to happen to Will Lyon at this point, and or what might happen post-race. So Alex just knows the points and knows that they need to get up there and get first, second, third, basically. And now there is an interesting scenario where should Alex, I can take a look at the points breakdown, but should Alex be able to finish in first place, and basically there's some scenarios where Alex wins no matter what. So if Alex comes in first place, Will would have to finish better than 7th. So that's the type of math that I'm talking about, is Alex just knows the game is on. The best thing you can do is get up there, get first, or get second, because where Will is at right now, that could change. There could be more drivers that end up getting out of the race for whatever reason. So here's Andreas Eick now battling with Jesper Orman. It's so amazing to get to talk about these two drivers actually doing battle here on a road course, because it's always on ovals that you see these two running side by side or nose to tail. But here really Andreas with a big walk up there, easy to do into that corner, very finesse. But Jesper Orman giving it a good run for Three Crowns Racing, currently in 11th space, up a couple of spots, and trying to turn in some fast laps and see if he can pick off some positions and start earning some road course cred. But back up to the front, take a look here. It's Connor Pearson, and Connor took the lead just a few laps ago and hasn't really looked back. It's now over a half a second lead. That's still close enough for David Soranzo to close in and challenge Connor, but so far no problems once Connor has gotten around. You've got Sam Blackwood, Taylor Mills, and then Adam Gleason, your top 5. Now, we did have a moment ago this incident between Christian Malkorek, looks like touching wheels with another driver coming down the long back straight. That's an unfortunate one. Gathers it up and gets it going back again. Then we had another moment with Danny Brennan. And this was Jesper Orman following, and it looks like Danny did a very stylish pirouette, but that was not, I think, the intention by Danny. And so Danny gets it going again. And back underway. The Irish driver. So we go back to the front in the live picture. Connor Pearson leading David Soranzo, Sam Blackwood, and Taylor Mills, as well as Adam Gleason. That gap back to Soranzo not really closing down as it gets overcast on the track. So let's go ahead and take a look, because it's a little bit of a factor. I was looking ahead of time, and this could play a role in the long green flag stints that we'll have, and that would be the weather. So there you can see it's 31 degrees Celsius, not too hot, not quite gonna burn off the back tires as it could do here at Interlagos, Brazil. As you know, it can get quite warm. It's 25 degrees ambient right now and 12 km/h wind. So not too much for the drivers to have to worry about as far as that goes, but this cloudiness will cool the track ever so much. It's a welcome relief. Sometimes we see a little bit faster of lap times when you get that overcast on there, but either way, won't be too bad as far as the tire burn off today, and I guess that's probably the most welcome thing by these drivers. So to reset, we've got Connor Pearson in first, David Soranzo in second, Sam Blackwood in third, Taylor Mills in fourth, and Adam Gleason in fifth. Shot of that Adam Gleason machine. Currently has Michael Grossberger just behind and Taylor Mills just in front. So a TM Racing sandwich and Gleason the burger. So Gleason now up 2 spots, hanging in there in that top 5 position. Definitely a welcome runner here in the PMRL. We're under the 12th lap of green. Of course, we did do a couple of laps under the pace car with caution due to our lap 1 mishap, which has major championship implications. Of course, we'll wait to see how that one turns out. Go back and take a look. So there's Grossberger in 4th spot. I'm sorry, in 6th spot, up 4 positions. And just behind, Matthew Levine being able to pull that car basically out of the fire. And Will Lyon was in that same accident and I think sustained far more damage. Will now running behind, as you can see there on the camera, but that is Will's 2 laps down. So Matthew Levine, though, electing to stay out on track and getting back into the pit lane and then getting that car fixed, managing to stay on that lead lap, now has a chance to get SMS Racing back up there and possibly steal this team championship out from under the TM Racing cars, who are out there fighting extremely hard. And again, there's just the 2 cars for SMS Racing and several drivers for TM Racing. So it's really important for Levine now that Ryan is a couple of laps down and some positions back. Super important for Matthew Levine to get up there and get points. Otherwise, it very well could be TM Racing up there in the front. Now, of course, I don't have all of the math done. There you can see Grossberger, Grossberger going off track just a little bit, was trying to make that move down the inside. It looked so routine. Grossberger was trying to get down the inside of Levine and down the inside of Gleason and wasn't able to here down the inside of Levine. Levine challenging on the outside, not able to get that done. There, Levine goes back again. Not on push to pass at the moment. And wow, Grossberger steers outwards before he steers inwards in the corner and almost clips somebody. But Grossberger and Levine running so close, nose to tail. We watch Levine and then behind Will Lyon trying to get something out of this race here and take that championship. But Will Lyon's got a lot of work to do, and Matthew Levine right now has their hands full at the moment trying to get around Grossberger. Grossberger doing a heck of a job for TM Racing, sort of keeping the SMS racers from coming forward. It seems to be a concerted effort from TM Racing to try to take this championship. So we watch this championship battle continue here between those drivers. Here's Alex Salmon just a little ways back from there, from Matthew Levine, currently 3.92 seconds back. So you would have to imagine possibly there is some damage remaining on that 28 machine of Alex Salmon, because currently the last lap by was a 1:19.42, and everybody from 5th upwards has been going faster than that. So not quite on leading pace at the moment, and also on those red tires. Should mention that Magnus Anderson and Christian Malkarek are actually on their black tires, and that caution flag coming out when it did, everyone else, by the way, on red tires at the moment, but that caution flag coming out when it did probably helped a number of these drivers make a decision whether to switch or to stay on the same tire set. If it had just gone a couple of green flag laps before the caution came out, then they would have gotten full credit for having driven a full green flag lap with the tires, and then they would be done with that tire. So a lot of times drivers choosing to do the black tires on the start and get that done. That way, if you get a caution, you're straight onto the red tires. Some drivers going the opposite way and starting on the reds and then trying to figure out an opportune time or a short stint on the black tires. Whatever works for you, whatever your strategy is, but caution's playing a definite role in that. So, got another note here. Taylor Mills having a moment, possibly, was leading. Oh, they're just going off track just to slide him out. That's one of the easiest, it's like, that is one of the absolute easiest places, as these drivers just going bonkers out here, having a four-way battle for fifth place. Adam Gleason absolutely holding it down in fifth and keeping Grossberger, Levine, and Salmon just tied up behind, doing some excellent defensive battling. You can just see more of this battling happening. We'll go back to the live picture because I think we could just watch this. We could just keep watching that battle in the replay, but looks like Gleason has now pulled out a little bit of an advantage, about 1.4 seconds over Grossberger, and they're just ahead. It's Taylor Mills going down the inside of Sam Blackwood. So move Taylor Mills up into the podium spot, and out of nowhere, Taylor Mills up 9 spots today. I don't think Blackwood is done yet, but Mills, oh, and there Blackwood dives back to the inside. Mills hanging tight on the outside. Blackwood forcing the issue back to the inside, retaking the position, and Mills forced back out. A heck of a defensive battle and a great defensive effort from Sam Blackwood. Can Sam keep that lead? Got a little bit, it was not quite as good through that final corner. Didn't get quite the run onto the front straight, and that's allowed Taylor Mills to come back to the inside. It's side by side as we head down the front stretch, and it's Mills, and now you see Gleason diving in, and Gleason makes contact. 4 cars, 5 cars involved, 6 cars, cars climbing over others. Gleason climbing over the top of Taylor Mills, and caution is out on the racetrack. This one is in shambles. Michael Grossberger spinning around in circles. My goodness, this race is on its ear. Multiple wrecks this race have major championship implications. Where is everyone at? Well, Alex Salmon appears to have 4 corners on the car. No broken wings that we can see. We don't know what damage has been done. Gleason sustaining left side wing damage, possibly more. Blackwood was, I guess, not involved in that, just luckily just ahead. So we'll go back and take a look at that one because it involves so many drivers. What a heck of a crash. So let's see here. This was from when Taylor Mills went off. So let's go back to, this was as they go side by side through the corner. I'll pause it there. Let's see if we can take a look. There was Sam Blackwood who was involved, and we take a look at the overhead picture here. That probably will straighten it out a little bit more. You see some drivers coming in late there. So now let's pause it on your screen. We've got Sam Blackwood in the orange and blue car, and then ahead is Adam Gleason, who came in late to the battle. Back it up just a little bit more. So that's Taylor Mills making the pass, getting past Sam Blackwood safely. Mills continues through the corner, giving room, and then there is Gleason coming off of the curb and just riding it out a little bit. I mean, Mills didn't really give Gleason a lot of room, but then it's hard to tell. Blackwood jams on the brakes. That catches out, I believe, Grossberger, and then Grossberger goes to the right, and I don't know whether Grossberger clipped Matthew Levine, but there's Will Lyon, your championship leader, suffering a second incident today. And this is, it's just astounding how these drivers can go from looking like they can do absolutely no wrong. They have the lucky horseshoe in their back pocket. They won't get caught up in a wreck. They'll be at the front. And this race has just been turned on its ear twice. Just predominantly due to these wrecks. But this is racing, and this is the finale. And it doesn't matter, especially if drivers won't be penalized, that would strongly affect the finishing order, as we're going to do another lap under caution here. There's really nothing you can do about it. I mean, this is it. This isn't the Open or the Big Series. There's no more races to do this week. There's no way that you can get these points back. There's no more high strength of field. You've got to deal right now. If you're Andreas Ike, you should be licking your lips as you see everybody now coming into the pits, because you have a chance with Alex Salmon having yet another incident. Basically Ike still can win this championship, so you've got to be salivating over that opportunity. I don't know whether Ike is in position to do that, but it's a possibility. And then simultaneously, if you're Alex Salmon or Will Lyon, oh, you are in cleanup mode. You are in rescue mode. You are in salvage mode. You are thinking, what can I possibly do to take this previously wrecked and somewhat fixed race car and just maximize what I'm doing? Do I change my fuel strategy? Taking advantage of this caution right now, I think, has saved a number of drivers. Unfortunately, Sam Blackwood now having to go to the black tires at this point in the race. That might really cost Sam, because the black tire is considerably slower, and with 49 more laps to go here, it's going to be a long time on those black tires. Also on the black tires, Alex Salmon. So yet again, another disadvantage facing Salmon. So depending on who you're pulling for, I mean, this is it's gut check time. We came into this, we did the promo for this final race. You may have seen it out there on the net. Just posted it a few places. We did the promo, and the focus was pretty much Salmon and and Will Lyon battling it out and possibly getting the championship. But the way this has all unfolded, I mean, you can see it right there. Andreas Ike is in the lead. Now, Andreas last time pitted on lap 10, which was our last caution. So Andreas is definitely off strategy. However, Alex Salmon back in 7th and Will Lyon in 13th. Will is still where Andreas would need Will to finish, but Alex Salmon would have to slide a little bit further back. Now again, it is a possibility that, for example, if Will Lyon were to finish far enough back, 15th, 16th, something like that, and Andreas were to win or come in second, there is a chance that Andreas could take second in this championship. So it's all yet to be played, as we see. Who was that got the wave around there? Was that Will? It was indeed Will Lyon. So if you're keeping track, with Will Lyon not pitting, this is ultimate strategy. Now, let me get this up here on the screen so you can follow along. unfortunately, let's see here. Let's see if I can get this to work right. Quite want to go as far back as I want it to go. There we go. Now you can see Will Lyon there literally stopped on lap 1 to fix that damage. And that is the last time that Will has stopped. So everybody else with substantially better fuel, substantially better tires, many drivers having just stopped. So Will is at a disadvantage. But the fact of the matter is, Will has gotten, and I don't want to give you the wrong information, but if I understand this correctly, Will is about to rejoin the lead lap. So we'll watch this on our timing and scoring, because I don't want to maybe, get that wrong. Take a look at the gap time. That might actually help, right? There we go. So as you can see, Will Lyon is now back on the lead lap. So Will Lyon, your championship leader, suffering greatly on that first lap incident, has rebounded, has salvaged at this point in just 21 laps through strategy, understanding how the system works, understanding how to get those wave around laps, and getting cautions at the exact right time. Will Lyon is now back in this championship hunt and back in control. So for the Will Lyon fans out there watching live, this is an exciting moment. However, Will definitely has his work cut out for him. I mean, stopping last on lap 1, currently lap 21. I'm not sure that Will can get more than a couple more laps. It might actually, I'm not sure whether he could pit now. I don't think he can. If he could pit now, I think he would get a black flag. But if he did and could pit now, he would lose the least amount of time on that pit stop because of how slow this restart will be, and would be able to lose the least amount of time. Unfortunately, I don't think that's a possibility because he would get a black flag for that. So, it's not over for Will, but Will is back on the lead lap, and of course, so is Alex Salmon. So, penalties aside, potential penalties aside, we actually have the straight-up fight that we had in the beginning still on our hands.
Green.
Andreas Eick leads us back to the green flag on lap 20, starting lap 22. It's Eick into turn 1 first with Connor Pearson. No, I apologize. It's Pearson first over Eick in through turn 1. Levine and Soranzo now into third. Levine further back into fourth. And actually Blackwood now up ahead of Levine as you see them jockeying around. There, Levine trying to make a move on Blackwood, does on the inside. Blackwood again on those black tires. That is going to hurt. As Levine getting those tires up to temp fairly quickly and trying to get around the outside. Not quite able to get it done. These drivers going side by side so carefully through these corners, giving lots of room. Getting a little stacked up behind, as you can see. Alex Salmon now, once again, Alex knows what needs to be done. Points-wise, that doesn't change. Penalty-wise, that could change at the end of this one. And there it looked like Alex Salmon tagging the back end of Matthew Levine. Matthew Levine again getting run into. We'll back that one up. And it's hard to see it any other way. We'll just we'll go real slow. I'm sure there was probably some netcode involved. We'll see if we can get maybe the chopper camera will show us a little bit better, but we'll watch here as and there's just a little bit of contact there pushing off Matthew Levine once again. So we go back to the live picture. And we go back up to the front. And it's Connor Pearson in first over Andreas Eick. David Soranzo in third. Your pole sitter having moved back a couple of spots. And we've got Sam Blackwood now in fourth place, up 2 spots on the day thus far. Christian Malkorek hitting with everyone else, so actually being able to recover from that earlier off, and currently running in 5th spot, up 6 spots on the day thus far. So looking great for Christian today. Hopefully my teammate there at Last Lap Motorsports will continue the run. Should mention, congratulations to Christian. I can't recall if I did congratulate him last week. Christian, a real-life driver of GT3, and at his home track, the Slovakia Ring. You may have caught the Audi Motors tweet, but Christian brought his Audi GT3 car home in first. I think that was 2 weekends ago. So the real-life driver bringing that talent here to the PMRL, and really cool to see that kind of crossover happening. In the meantime, looking back at the battle in front of us, we've got Alex Salmon just coming up on the back now of Christian Malkorek. Or Malkorek, I would be really watching my mirrors. There's Onboard with Malkorek, looking back at Alex Salmon. We'll go back and watch Salmon, but this time we'll go up to the nose cam. Another new camera here for us on VirtualRacing.Network. I'm going to simulate the great camera placement of the real life series. I truly hope you're enjoying it out there. Let us know in the comments. Let us know in chat how it's looking for you. Brand new 4K ultra high definition, and this is the very first chance that we've had to be able to show this off. We've been talking about it all season long, that we are looking forward to an upgrade, and Comcast finally came through for us. So hopping on the gigabit grandstand. And we're all fortunate, and all of the leagues that we do cover and the series that we do cover going forward into season 2 of our coverage, and season 4, of course, of iRacing in 2021. Season 2 for PMRL as we go into that starting in October. Yeah, every single one of the leagues and the series that we do will be presented in 4K, ultra high definition, 60 frames a second. So again, just part of the technological stuff that we're doing to try to make it a better viewing experience for you out there on your couches. And we've got another note. Will Lyon is back in the pits. This would have been that scheduled pit stop coming in now on lap 26 after having stopped on the first lap. So Will's taking service. This will, of course, not allow Will to get away with just a single more stop. A lot of these other drivers, with just this stop, he'll have to do another stop. And all of the other drivers will, of course, also have to do another stop to make it to the end. But yeah, so exciting about the changes that we're doing here at VirtualRacing.Network. Also, Prime Meridian Racing League going to be making some adjustments in Season 2. So stay tuned for more details on that. But of course, as we finish broadcast, there will be some more announcements over the off season, which is September essentially, and then October will begin Season 2. So if you're checking this broadcast out and you're an IndyCar racer, or you are involved in another part of iRacing, as you can see, Soranzo chasing down Eick here for second spot on the podium, going down the inside. Takes a look, not able to send it. But if you want to join these drivers out here, you think you got what it takes, look up Prime Meridian Racing League on iRacing. Feel free to apply to the league, and you can get in nice and early. There's a Discord support group, and it's a great community, great bunch of drivers, lots of great camaraderie between races, etc., and practice sessions as well, hosted by the league. So it's a great league to get into, and it's just growing and growing, and numerous drivers already entered. I believe over 20 drivers entered for Season 2 already, many of the drivers returning from Season 1. Wow. Saranzo with a big lockup there, slides out to the outside of Ike. So Saranzo torturing those red tires a little bit, but so far in podium position and trying to hunt down the Team Talent driver ahead of Andreas Ike. But back to Prime Meridian Racing League Season 2, it'll be, the season looks very similar to this one, about an even split between road courses and ovals. A great chance to show off your mastery of both of those disciplines. And we just have to commend the whole crew, really, at Prime Meridian Racing League. Everybody from Jessica Sabin to Vilda Wallen and Joshua. Everybody's doing an awesome job. Many people contributing on the sides and peripherally. Vilda Wallen supplying our graphics that we've been using throughout the season. And so it's really exciting to have graphic designers on board, part of the series, able to contribute like that, as we watch this nose-to-tail battle between Andreas Ike and David Saranzo. It's really exciting stuff here in the final race of the season. We're finally getting to see some of these drivers really battle at the levels that we knew that they were capable of. Connor Pearson is out in front of this one, and I think really putting some of that overall pace on display. Over a second faster than the rest of the group on the last lap, and Pearson really trying to show, hey, don't count me out of Season 2. I want to start Season 2 fresh and put as many points on the board. I think I got this thing figured out, says Connor. So if Connor's going to do this kind of stuff on road courses, and he's that talented on ovals, I think you definitely are going to have to circle Pearson for Season 2. But for Season 1, I think we'll just take it one step at a time. You might put your circle around this driver for today's race for sure. 4.15 seconds back to David Saranzo here on lap 29. As we approach halfway through the finale here, the driver's into the middle of a long green flag stint after a couple of cautions early on. The first one on lap 1, wiping out numerous contenders for this race, including both championship contenders at the front, Alex Salmon and Will Lyon, and then later an incident taking out Will Lyon yet again and putting Will at a disadvantage for the moment. However, Will Lyon responding back with some key strategy, and that's not to say that Alex Salmon hasn't, and that's not saying that Andreas Ike, who's also now slid back to third, as Alex Salmon is now entering the pits. So, but it's not to say that Ike hasn't done a great job. Ike has done a fantastic job. But Lyon has managed to climb 2 laps back onto the lead lap in just 20 laps through really understanding how getting your lap back works. And, well, Will is still making this a fight. So Will is currently in 12th, and it looks like that machine may definitely be damaged, as you see Alex Salmon coming out right in front of Will. Will there be some tempers flaring here? Perhaps a little door handle to door handle action. But I doubt it. Will is not that kind of a driver. And you know, you don't I'd say you don't win championships. Some people do win championships by being very aggressive, but ultimately you win championships by being consistent and really staying out of those wrecks that would catch others up and finding ways to make room on the track. I mean, it's just any time that you're in a iRacing race, you go through all the same things every time. And I think when you get to the end of these races a lot, what you notice is it's not always the drivers that qualify up front. It's not always the drivers that are the fastest and slicing and dicing through the field. Many times, it's the drivers that qualify kind of mid-pack or maybe a little bit forward of mid-pack, and they just stay clean and they execute strategy. They're consistent, lap in, lap out, no big off tracks. Those are the drivers that end up usually up on the podium and a lot of times winning. And a lot of times, you know, again, you can have a bunch of thirds and seconds in a row and all of it adds up in the end. Again, Will Lyon, the fact that Will has done one less race than Alex Salmon is interesting, but even more interesting is the fact that in one of those other races that Will actually did, he managed to get a third place, and Alex is back up as far as getting a third place. He didn't get a third place. So the consistency of finishing up on the podium gives Will the edge just due to being a tiebreaker. So all of these little things, the fast lap bonus point, leading most laps bonus point, pole position bonus point, as we can see Andreas Eich receiving service now in the pits, all of these factors coming out to help a driver like Will Lyon out there. So Will Lyon working on Alex Salmon, and there have been no fireworks thus far on these laps with these two, but you know, as Will jockeys around and tries to find a way past Salmon there, this is an interesting situation that these drivers are in right now. It's very, so in other words, Alex Salmon at this point, having Will just behind, knows that Alex is not going to win this championship. So if maybe you're Alex, you might find creative ways to sucker Will into earning some penalty points. Now, I'm just saying these are strategies. These are potential strategies you could use if you were a driver. You know, if you're maybe desperate to try to get that championship, you might want, you know, I'm just throwing it out there. It's something that could happen. It is the driver behind's responsibility to make the pass cleanly. So Will lines up Alex Salmon here, and this is, and again, you know, really, it's like, if you're Will, you just want to get around Alex Salmon as fast as possible and just, you know, not have that potential incident happen. But let's say that Will got too aggressive, got a little fed up being behind, even though I'm sure Will at the moment probably knows exactly what the scenario is, and Will is probably not in any desperate mode to get by Alex Salmon or try to get the win. But if you're Will, you just don't want to get baited into a situation where you might get upset, you might throw it down the inside, you might do something that you might regret, and something that the stewards might look at and say, oh, well, you know, you're going to get some bonus points of the wrong kind. I almost said inverted bonus points. But yeah, that's what I'm saying about the amount of strategy that goes into this, and it's strategy whether you're in first and you qualified in the pool, or it's strategy whether you're in 11th like Will Lyon and fighting for the championship, and your championship contender is just in front of you, somebody you've already had an altercation with on the track. You know, you have to be thinking strategy. You have to be adapting and pivoting your strategy as every single one of these laps clicks off. You're looking at it and saying, how many laps are left? Can I make it on the fuel? What can I do different to optimize this? And I'll tell you what, somebody who's had a clean track ever since he got around, David Soranzo, is this driver right here, Connor Pearson, who's been doing everything right. Now, there's been times when we've seen Connor have a moment or two in other races, was looking good up in the top 5, etc., and then just had a moment, maybe made a decision to go outside, should have gone inside, etc., or got caught up in another driver's incident. Connor is in the lead for a reason, because they have the talent. I mean, and in this scenario right now, Connor is just picking them up and putting them down, as they say. Just one at a time, one corner at a time, one lap at a time, count them off. You know, we're past halfway now, so you'll take that into account in your brain. Past halfway, got one more pit stop to make. And you just, again, you break it down into small, manageable chunks and try to be consistent. Try to not overcook the corners. Try not to torture those tires. If you have an opportunity to pass a lap car like Connor's going to be doing here in a minute, give lots of space. There's no need to try to take, you know, too much of an aggressive risk trying to pass a lap car. And right now, with 3.44 seconds in the bag on your pole sitter, David Soranzo, Connor's also got to be feeling pretty good about that. Now, at the same time, I should point out that Sam Blackwood is still is up into third, 3 positions gained today on the black tires at the moment. So Sam's last lap a 1:18.13, Soranzo a last lap 1:18.98 for Sam Blackwood, 1:18.45 for Soranzo, 1:18.63. And there you can see Christian Malkarek. Huh. We weren't even prepared for that one. Where did Christian Malkarek come from? That was a deep send from Christian Malkarek. But in the meantime, Malkarek slid back after that attempted pass. Let's go back and take a look at that. That was pretty crazy. Here's Malkarek coming down what is essentially the real back straight of this track, making that huge pass. Now that'll be a off track there, and Blackwood not phased at all, just adjusting, not getting run off the track, not giving too much room, just adjusting very well to the line and then retaking the position. Go back to that live picture. Malkarek now chasing down Sam Blackwood. Malkarek back in 4th spot, up 7 spots today. Again, continuing that streak of trying to finish better than where he qualifies. So Alex Salmon, you can see here, Will Lyon, championship leader, just behind. As it stands right now, Will Lyon will take this championship. Alex Salmon last time by was 1:18.34. So these drivers are very fast at the moment, actually as fast as the leaders. So perhaps Salmon getting that damage actually fixed. Will Lyon on 1:18.61. So somehow the crews of TM Racing and SMS Racing taking destroyed race cars, making them like new again and quick. So this one is not over for either of these drivers, and we have another incident. Jesper Orman this time, having a big moment. Just really getting the acceleration not quite right there. And it goes sliding off the track. That was so weird how that happened. It was like the car bucked left and then right. But you see Ike sliding by, Salmon sliding by, and then Will Lyon sliding by. So that happened just in front of what we were watching. In the meantime, also, I should make note, it's Magnus Anderson, who didn't even qualify, I don't even know if Magnus practiced, but Anderson, looking back on Salmon, but there's Anderson, and racing for Slow and Steady, the number 93 driver, or sorry, 98 driver for Slow and Steady, right now sitting in 7th spot, so that is phenomenal work by Magnus Anderson. Exciting stuff happening here at Interlagos. Hope you're enjoying it over there in the YouTube chat room and watching from around the globe. It's been a fun one thus far. It's been wild and crazy, as some of these races for the PMRL have definitely fallen under that headline, wild and crazy this season. Some definitely coming to, some finishes coming to mind, most notably obviously Pocono, and then Pocono, and then Auto Club last week with Thomas Christensen's victory. That was just astounding to watch. And so we watch this battle now between Christian Malkarek and Sam Blackwood. So Malkarek still pressuring Blackwood, has crept back on the back. Blackwood now perhaps starting to suffer some pace fall off with those black tires. Now back to a 1:19.61 last time. That's about a second slower than your leader, Connor Pearson. So we'll see if Malkarek can do anything about that and possibly take advantage of Blackwood's slowly slowing car. So you'll notice our camera's focus for this onboard shot is a little blurry, and that's intentional. It's we're just choosing the focus to be at infinity here, and a little different aperture setting, but it gives you a general idea that you've got the gears there in the center of the steering wheel, so you know what gear the driver is in at the moment, coming down into second and first. Oh, actually not all the way down into first, into second. But those little squares in the bottom of that screen actually give away some very important information. And we don't, the two squares on the left that are red, those are actually the ARB settings. So the front and the rear ARB, anti-roll bar, that these drivers can adjust, and in real life they can adjust them in the cockpit as well. So actual lever that you pull for that. But in addition, the one on the right-hand side is the fuel map that's currently in the yellow. And just to the left of that, in the orange, is your miles per gallon. So that gives away some very sensitive information that these drivers might be trying to employ, whether they're fuel saving, they might have gone up on the fuel map, so to speak, and making the car a little bit leaner. And so the car burns less gas and you get more laps. Or they might be going the other way to full rich, and either way we don't want to give that information away. Now, should the drivers be under push to pass, as you see Malkarek now diving for pit lane, getting it slowed down just in the nick of time there. 25 laps to go, so that looks like to be probably about the perfect amount. And so Malkarek trying to do the undercut here, and then is going to have to really stretch. Is he going to take the black tires or the red tires this time? And it looks like red tires going on. Meantime, Alex Salmon goes sailing past down into turn one, the site of a couple of different incidents today for TM Racing drivers, including Alex Salmon. And wait to see how that all finishes out. In the meantime, right here in your picture is the championship in a nutshell. Alex Salmon is currently sitting in 5th place. That's where Alex qualified. In 6th place, Andreas Eich, who is currently 3rd in the championship. Alex is 2nd, and then Will Lyon 3rd in this group in 7th place. Now, if they were to finish where they're at now, as you see Connor Pearson, can't really tell from that camera, but Connor Pearson now pulling it into the pits. And then just behind, you'll see David Soranzo also into the pits, out of the lead. Of course, like I said, Connor Blackwood, Sam Blackwood pulling it in. Connor Blackwood is the ship name for the Wyvern Racing with O'Connor Moore team name. Oh my goodness. It's been a long season, everyone. I hope you're enjoying this here on VirtualRacing.Network. We've got Tim Miller and Will Ashford joining us over in the YouTube chat room. Will Ashford rooting on Danny Brennan. So we'll take another look over here at Danny Brennan, who's out there, a beautiful green machine. Of course, my name being Greenfield, I'm not just partial to the word green. I also race a green-colored machine, and trying to do as much as I can to get rid of that notion that green is somehow unlucky on a race car. It's worked for Lotus, and Danny Brennan is here in Season 1, gonna hopefully maybe get a top 10 out of this one. But we'll see if Danny Brennan can come back in Season 2 with some new feet under him and be able to take the fight to him. In the meantime, you see some cool sponsors on there. The Trevor Project, those of you out there part of LGBTQ plus community know the Trevor Project very well, and a number of other sponsors on board. So great custom livery for Danny. As I mentioned, great to see you over in the chat room rooting on Will Ashford. I promise you, if you come over and drop a comment over in our chat, I will give some screen time to your favorite driver. We want to talk about everybody that's part of this field. Everybody's got a story to tell. Everybody's fighting for some part of a championship, and I mean, really, that's what it's about for these drivers. You know, it doesn't matter. Of course, you spend a whole season, you want to get that third place, you want to get that second, and you want to win the championship. But it's when you got, you know, 30 plus people competing in a championship, you don't have that ability. It's just there's 27 people who aren't going to finish in the top 3. So it's a personal challenge to yourself. Can I finish better than I think I should, or, you know, than I did last time? And so that's why you go out there every time and you bring your A game. And honestly, in every race this season, this one's been a wild one, but Alex Salmon, who currently is second in the points, third on the track at the moment, Alex Salmon has been absolutely dynamic this season, winning the first couple of races, and then you know, just being consistently good on the track, getting caught up just a couple of times in incidents. But Alex Salmon, you know, has had the speed, has had the pace, shown it on ovals, shown it on road courses, especially on road courses. But it may not be enough today, and that's also one of those things that you have to deal with as a driver, is sometimes even your best is not quite good enough. And it's not due to your fault, or sometimes it is, but sometimes it's just that other drivers are more prepared, or other drivers are luckier, other drivers have a little bit more experience, and so it just keeps you coming back every time. You know, if you're Alex Salmon, come on back, Season 2, PMRL, let's see what you can do, and see if we can get another great battle between Will Lyon, Andreas Ike, and Will Lyon, and of course Alex Salmon, and hopefully we get even more than that. Now, we have just had a problem on the track. My goodness, what has happened here? Christian Malcorette getting around Matthew Levine, because Levine was in the pits. Then Malcorette comes around. I think actually we're going to take a look. Let's go back and take a look here at Levine passing Sam Blackwood. Blackwood there having a problem and going off. And then it's telling us that Levine has a moment shortly thereafter. And we wait to see whether that's just an errant thing, or whether that actually happened. It's saying Levine has gone off track, so I'm imagining this will happen on your screen here in just a moment. Perhaps into turn 1. Yes, in fact, Sam Blackwood got the run down the inside. Did not tag. Well, I guess we can go to exactly when the incident happened, supposedly. This is Blackwood there tagging the back of Levine. There is your incident. Apologize it took so long to get to it. So Blackwood tagging the back of Levine, and that will, unfortunately, poor Matthew Levine. I mean, really, if anybody has any sympathy cards that they can send to Matthew Levine after today's race, it would be greatly appreciated. Just send that to the PMRL, care of Jessica Sabin, and she will get that over to Matthew Levine. Or perhaps send it directly to Ian Bell there on the car and let him know how sad he is that his face has been damaged this much. Will Lyon and Matthew Levine, of course, running Ian Bell's face, one of the head people over at the Project Cars studios. So, wow, what a difficult day for Matthew Levine, but I tell you what, I'm just going to keep saying it, and this driver right here, Connor Pearson, just continues to do what needs to get done. This is kind of where we saw Will Lyon and Alex Salmon a couple of races this season, just not making mistakes, just doing what needs to get done, clicking off lap after lap, being in the lead, not caring that, that Soranzo is fast and back there and come up and, yeah, it's just, you got to keep it so clean, so clean. Any wrong move, any touching of the wall, touching the grass and having it spin you out, anything like that, and you could see this all disappear. So with 23 laps to go, Connor Pearson continues here, and Soranzo here in second for NSH Racing Team. Will Lyon now shown in third, having stopped on lap 25. This is part of the pit cycle for Will Lyon. Alex Salmon, who's just behind there on their screen, did stop 4 laps later on lap 29. So neither of those drivers good enough to make it to the end, as well as Andreas Eick, who is currently in 5th spot. Once again, not good enough to make it to the end at the moment. So who is good enough to make it to the end? Well, I don't think anybody can. Everybody's going to have to stop. No, I take it back. Connor Pearson, David Soranzo, both stopped on lap 41. Christian Malkorek stopped on lap 40. So he's going to have a little bit more work to do. Might have to do some fuel saving. So we're watching Andreas Eick on your screen at the moment. And then Sam Blackwood also stopping on lap 41, Matthew Levine on lap 41, and Danny Brennan on lap 40. So those drivers can all make it to the end. And now we've got another incident. And Matthew Levine just trying to get that car around. Not able to get the car turned for that final corner. Really sliding it around there on the track. It's really crabbing going down the track. That car is broken. You can see the input there. Very difficult to get that one around. And again, oh my goodness, it's just a handful. Levine spinning it around, blocking the track. Don't know where that puts him in relation. Had to get the thing back going again. There you saw David Soranzo going by in the background, and there, that's so dangerous. I'm actually kind of surprised a yellow flag was not thrown, and it does not look like Levine was able to even get it back. Continues. I keep waiting for this sad saga to end, for Levine just to hit the escape button and end it and tow it in. Unfortunately, Levine doesn't have that luxury. Levine right now is still working for SMS Racing, is still working to try to get the max finish here. And so, crabbing it down the straightaway and all, it's still faster than pitting in, or than letting the tow truck bring you around. So, the strategy continues to unfold for many of these drivers. This race has just been filled with incidents and strategy that has to be changed and changed again by these drivers. But Malkorek now diving down the inside of Andreas Eick onto up and into 4th spot again. Malkorek, and again, Salmon is going to have to stop ahead of Malkorek. So this is for the from my math, at least at this point, this is for the virtual third place finish, a potential podium finish here for Christian Malkorek. Ike also just behind will have to stop once more. And then you've got Sam Blackwood, who is in 6th place right now. Did get that stop done. You see back on the red tires. I'm sure that's a welcome relief to Sam. And now David Soranzo is into the pits. So Soranzo out of second. Looks like all the corners are still on that car, so this is probably just routine service at this moment. Soranzo dropping down the order and indeed underway again. And unfortunately, well, probably guess whose car this is. It's the one that doesn't handle very well at the moment, and it appears to be sliding around on the exit of the pits, hopefully not blocking anybody from leaving the pits. And here comes somebody, almost clipping Matthew Levine. That looked like that was David Soranzo. Levine stationary on the track. Not sure what. I guess Levine finally found the escape button and the tow button. So there, Levine has towed back to the pits, and I don't know if that is day done for Levine finally, but we'll see if the SMS racing team can get that one repaired yet again and back out there. Tim Miller stopping by over in YouTube chat a few minutes ago. Wanted to let us know Magnus Anderson is who he's rooting for, and we appreciate that, Tim. So here's a couple of moments with Magnus Anderson. It's Andreas Ike and Adam Gleason pulling into the pits for their stops. As I mentioned, they were going to have to stop again. Magnus will also have to stop. Not going to do so on this lap, but last stopped on lap 39, so I'm saying has to stop, but I mean, maybe it's possible with some like insane fuel saving. Not really sure. That's why they get paid the big bucks and I just sit in the booth and talk. Magnus Anderson here on your screen, up 10 spots today. One of the big climbers in the group, perhaps the biggest. Christian Malkorek real close, currently now in 2nd place, up 9 spots on the day. For a while, it was going to be Taylor Mills, who was looking almost untouchable, getting up there towards the podium position for TM Racing, but unfortunately her day has turned upside down. Now back a couple of laps down, shown in 13th spot. So how the championship looks at the moment, well, Will Lyon is comfortably in the championship winning position, and there's not much that Alex Salmon can do about it at this point. Alex is desperately trying to claw up towards that spot and a chance at a championship, but it's, as the laps drag on, it's just getting more and more evident that I don't think that's going to happen. And Salmon now is let's see here. Salmon is 46 seconds adrift of the leader, 19 seconds back from Sam Blackwood. So, you know, would need over a second a lap to be able to haul in Sam Blackwood and get up onto the podium. And then Alex would also need Will Lyon to exit the race probably at this point. So time is ticking down. 17 laps to go for our leader, Connor Pearson, as we're watching these drivers on track. Swedish driver Magnus Anderson there in the middle of your picture. Looking good under the Sao Paulo setting sun here in Brazil. As I mentioned, 17 laps to go as Magnus Anderson spins out while on camera, losing the back end. Did he get tagged maybe by Alex Salmon? Let's see if we can tell. No, it looks like just on entry. Magnus kind of lost it there. I'll go back and see what exactly happened. It goes so fast away that it's almost impossible to catch there. It just wants to go right around. So, you know, I can't say for certain, but it could just simply be that these tires are starting to kick off, these red tires. So notably easy to overheat ever since the new tire update. And speaking of new tire updates, now move back up and take a look at your second place runner right now, Christian Malkorek, running 24 seconds adrift of Connor Pearson at the moment. But speaking of new, there's all kinds of new stuff coming to iRacing, and I have no idea what we're going to get for our next season of iRacing, which of course will trickle down into the PMRL and all the other stuff that we cover here on VirtualRacing.Network. But at the top of the list, I'm just going to say, you know, it depends on how you look at it, right? So is rain, that has been talked about forever, the potential to get rain in iRacing, is that cooler or more going to affect the racing on iRacing than a complete revamp of the tire model that iRacing has announced for the Dallara IR18? Now, we could talk about these in depth, and I hope to maybe make some sort of a video at some point, possibly for VirtualRacing.Network, where we explore these in more detail. But yeah, it's either one of these is going to make a huge difference in the racing. So these tires have been a little messed up since they introduced them at the start of 2021. I mean, it's just plain and simple. Now, that being said, the old tire model that they moved away from, vastly more flawed and less reliable than this tire is. Now, as we're watching on screen, you can see Sam Blackwood getting shadowed by David Soranzo. Will Soranzo be able to now take over the podium position? And then directly in front will be Christian Malkorek. So we'll watch on board the nose cam or Soranzo working on Blackwood. Soranzo, 4 push to passes to go, and wow, making contact potentially. We were on board and we couldn't quite tell whether Soranzo made contact. We need to go back and see that one, and we'll take a look at it real slow for you as he makes the pass into the corner. And we've got more to get to, so I hate to break away from this, but there is a big note that we have to take a look at here. This is David's... No, this is the wrong one. I apologize. We just went back to the same one. So Connor Pearson, your leader, spinning off the track. Almost spinning off of the track. This was with just 16 laps remaining. Pearson getting it a little sideways, and that's where you are super happy that you had a 24-second gap. Right there. That's where all of that consecutive laps and consistent laps comes in to play, because that gap has now been halved. It is now just an 11-second gap to Christian Malkorek. Well, on my screen, I apologize, no, it's down to a 21-second gap. So it has come down several seconds, about 10 seconds from where it was. And if Pearson has another problem, we may be seeing another driver coming forward. So I'm just saying, you put in all of those fast laps and you bank some gap back to second place, and that really came in handy because Pearson still in charge of this one. That was scary there for a second. I thought we might be talking about something more serious, and it was basically shown to me that, oh, and then we had another moment earlier. Let's go take a look at this one. Jesper Orman having a real problem here. I'm not so sure why Jesper is slow. But went off track, came back on, gathered it up. And I think that Orman has another moment a little bit later on. Not sure where. But we'll rejoin the live picture. And we can see Connor Pearson still in front. And Malkorek has had a moment. I apologize. Malkorek did have to pit. So that was... that obviously Malkorek misread the strategy, needed some fuel, and decided to bring it in. Michael Grossberger leaving the pits. Unfortunately, after leaving the pits, something goes wrong here, and just doesn't. It almost looks like that car wasn't handling right. I mean, just exiting the pits. I mean, yes, cold tires and all of that, but there was a moment just before this, if we back it up just a little bit more, where the car gets very unsettled. Steering to the left, it just wants to kind of steer out to the right. Maybe that's a little normal. Either way, exiting the pits, I mean, that could just be a mistake. And Grossberger, another one of the TM Racing drivers who, like Taylor Mills, has unfortunately suffered today greatly, and unfortunately not able to keep TM Racing up there in the front. So we'll have to see, because Will Lyon, who last stopped on lap 47, is good to go to the end, is currently in third place, and it does appear as though Levine's day is done. So the fact of that matter, with Levine dropping out of the race, leaves just Will Lyon, the sole SMS Racing driver, to defend the team championship against the drivers for... We're seeing Taylor Mills, unfortunately, having some, I think, blinking out. Not really sure what's happening with Taylor, but yeah, really blinking out, causing some issues with timing and scoring. So we apologize if the timing and scoring is moving around a little bit. Taylor Mills ended up jumping to pit lane. Had some sort of a problem. There was some sort of a technical glitch that was just caused when Taylor Mills tried to come into pit lane. Either way, it's been a crazy, insane race. So much going on, anything from straightforward. I mean, if you've been watching this season unfold and you saw the top five, you might think this was a normal race with Will Lyon running in third. You might be a little surprised to see Salmon down there 3 laps down, but it has been anything but a normal race. The recap is we're going to be coming down to 10 to go as Pearson now brings it in to take service here. And so Pearson, you know, this inherited, I don't want to say inherited lead, inherited the opportunity to take the lead on lap 1 when there was a big incident coming into turn 1. Multiple drivers involved, including both of the major championship contenders, and really costing them greatly. But Pearson, being at the right place at the right time, took the lead from David Soranzo, who was your pole sitter, excuse me, and has just made the most out of it all day. Just on camera once, we've seen now Connor have an issue in the last stint, sliding off a little bit, but this has really been a day for Connor to shine, and the Wyvern Racing O'Connor Moore team really getting some credit with Sam Blackwood now top 5. I think, again, it all kind of coming together solidly about halfway through this season for these drivers, and then you could just visually see them continuing to bring their pace up as we get to the end of these races. So appreciate Anna S. subscribing to us over on YouTube, and rooting on Danny B. course, Danny's joining us for this race and hopefully more in season 2. But Danny's got a top 10 at the moment. Let's go take a look at Danny in that awesome green colored car. Green and orange and white. Having a little blinking issue, but that's normal for us. We're way over on the side of the world from where most of these drivers are racing. Yeah, it's way over here at West Coast United States, and a lot of these drivers, and most likely the iRacing server based along the Prime Meridian. So unfortunately, sometimes we're going to encounter some of those blinking issues, but again, Comcast, we got the gigabit, so hopefully we have less problems than we might have had before. Just now 9 laps remaining in the first season of the Prime Meridian Racing League. Currently on track, Connor Pearson in the lead. He's got black tires on that car. So I don't know if that's a preference thing or if that's because Connor didn't take black tires before. Yeah, getting back to the tires and the updates that the tires have done. Take a look at the field. You see David Soranzo there in second, and your championship leader and potential champion, Will Lyon, running in third spot with Malkorek in fourth. Yeah, the tires on these cars just never quite exactly right, either in handling, as you see Malkorek now lining up Lyon, and Lyon bailing out of that one, absolutely knowing the championship is on the line, does not want to wreck out of this, just needs to finish the race. Where Will Lyon, and by the way, talk about drivers, we were just talking about Sam Blackwood and teammate Connor Pearson. Guess who just set the fastest lap of the race on those red tires? Sam Blackwood with a 1:17.43. So fastest lap of the race. It's all starting to fall into this team's favor. Wyvern Racing with O'Connor Moore, and again, I'm really excited for the prospect of next month when we get into the first race of the new season. I was sworn to secrecy as far as the new schedule goes, but it's really exciting, and let's just say I think we're going to start the season. I don't know if I can actually tell you the exact schedule because I don't know that it's been officially published yet by the PMRL, but the first race of the next season is a classic IndyCar circuit, legendary. We already visited there this year. I don't know if that's giving away too much information, but it will be so much fun. So much fun. Hey, appreciate you stopping by. Mark Johnston over in the chat. It's so sad to see you be out of this race. You were great to have you in the series this season, and we'll look forward to seeing you again next season. Again, same thing. I just see Johnston's pace climbing and climbing each and every race. So back to the original point, the tires are getting updated. They were just never quite right. It's such a fine balance that you have to hit as far as the pace in real life and the difference in what conditions they excel in and how fast they fall off. It's a very technical, difficult thing. It seems easy to duplicate if you just plan it out, but in reality, it's much more difficult for the iRacing engineers to get it exactly right. And after a couple of updates, it does seem as though they've learned some things. They've probably put it in the hands of some real-life IndyCar drivers again, and gotten some feedback and decided to make a change. And on that note, also, those of you who are IndyCar fans will know that the series, of course, this weekend is at Portland. But beyond that, the IndyCar series has announced their own game, and it'll probably be a Simcade sort of style game, but possibly in the fashion of F1 2020 and 2021, that style, NASCAR Heat. So if you're a more casual racer, you like Forza or one of those style Simcade type games where it's very serious but not so serious that everything is completely realistic, you'll definitely want to look for that game to be coming out probably next year. But iRacing is the place to be if you want serious competition and if you want to be part of the PMRL. You just hop on over to iRacing.com. If you're not already a member, but you've been sim racing for a while in Assetto Corsa or R-Factor or one of those other games, just come over, do some practice, get your license up to where it needs to be to get into the PMRL and to race the IndyCar on iRacing. You need to get up to, I think, a D 4.0 license to get into the Indy Fix Series, which can take just a couple of weeks if you're pretty skilled. And you can be in the PMRL, and that's an awesome thing for anybody to be able to take their competition to that next level. Go up here against these really good teams and drivers. David Soranzo having a good day. Soranzo has kind of taken himself out of a couple of races, so it's kind of great to see him sticking around here at the very end of this one. Currently in second place and possibly going to get this podium spot that he's been working so hard this season to try to get. Soranzo was just outside of the top 3 in the points for a lot of this season. And as you can see, Brennan pulling over to the side to let some of the leaders go by. Christian Malkorek staying ahead of Will Lyon here for the 3rd spot. As I mentioned, Will Lyon will not need to do anything from here to win the championship, so just kind of hanging on to that spot. As Alex Salmon has now slipped back a lap on the track, actually several laps. And so it looks like the fight for the championship is coming to an end with just 4 laps remaining here for our leader, Connor Pearson. We may very well be looking at our very first champion right here in Will Lyon. So will we have a Scottish first champion here in Prime Meridian Racing League? That will be the question. Anything can happen in the next few moments, and we'll just have to watch this one finish out, because if I could tell you the number of times that I have seen things turn on their heads in 3 laps, it can absolutely happen. Things look like they're going to pan out. You're Will Lyon, you're sitting here thinking, I've got a little bit of a gap back to this driver, Sam Blackwood, but Blackwood, you know, a 17.81 last time by, fastest lap of the race, and coming up on the back of Will Lyon really fast. Again, if you're Will Lyon, championship move to make is just kind of let these drivers go right on by you. But this is the battle nonetheless. Blackwood trying to finish up this season for Wyvern Racing with O'Connor Moore. That's important for the team championship. Blackwood, fastest lap of the race, trying to get that top 5, maybe even a podium finish here. So we see Lyon now taking a look on the outside of Malkorek, getting racy. Look out the left side of the cockpit. Towards Malkorek just in front. Another new camera for us here. VirtualRacing.Network. Will Lyon on the button. 2 pushes remaining. Lyon to the outside. Malkorek retains the position. Lyon drops back just a little bit. What's going on behind? That is the question. You can see there just behind Sam Blackwood making this, and there you see Lyon getting by Malkorek. Malkorek having a moment. These drivers sitting just behind. And there it looks like Malkorek possibly tangling with Blackwood. There's Blackwood looking back towards Malkorek. This is now one heck of a battle, and you've got your championship leader right in the middle of this. Hopefully not having a target on Will Lyon's car for the last couple of laps here. And again, if I personally, if I were in Will's spot, I would just let these other 2 go by. But I think Will wants to do, he's like thinking, oh, maybe Trevor's not going to interview me if I don't get up there on the podium, because it's probably just for podium people. So he's trying really hard to get that podium. He's like, I want to get an interview as a champion. Come on. Will pulls to the left and then tries to break the gap there, and then pulls back in front of Sam Blackwood. Blackwood now hounding the back of Lyon. Will Lyon try and actually defend this podium position? We shall see. Jessica Sabin stopping by the administrator, pausing her duties for a moment to watch the broadcast and letting us know that she's been watching, and that yes, I have some commentary towards iRacing. Oh yes, you start racing these cars enough and putting in hundreds of hours of grinding on setups, and you'll form some strong opinions about what works right and what doesn't as well. Nevertheless, we all have to deal with the same thing, and I tell you what, we're on the final lap. And it's this driver in front. It is Connor Pearson by 7.68 seconds over David Soranzo. This has been a great race for Connor. Couple little moments, but other than that, looked fantastic, getting through lap traffic just fine, not getting caught in any of those big incidents. It's been a great run thus far for Pearson in that 31 machine. And again, I'll just continue to reiterate possibly a preview that you're looking at of next season's performance as the sun gets behind a cloud and it gets a little dark on screen. David Soranzo there in second place. Going to try to bring it home, but it is Connor Pearson's race, and it has been a long race at that, with many, many incidents. But here, Connor Pearson will take the victory here at Sao Paulo. David Soranzo finishing second, coming across the line, and Will Lyon, just to cement that championship, will finish not only ahead of his two championship rivals, Andreas Eick, who's currently in 7th, Alex Salmon, who had a tumultuous day in 11th, but Will Lyon will take the championship. Your new champion, provisionally, of course, until we hear from Jessica and the rest of the stewards that it will in fact be Will's championship post race after the penalty points are applied. But from my standpoint, I did not see anything that would get applied to Lyon. And Blackwood now finishing off track there next to another driver finishing in 4th, and then there's 5th going to Christian Malkorek. What an amazing race today. I hope you enjoyed it there. I see your comments, Matthew Turner and Tim Miller. So appreciated that you stopped by and said hello. We're just waiting and get a chance to show you the final results, but you saw it right here on VirtualRacing.Network as Connor Pearson celebrates with his teammate Sam Blackwood. Sam Blackwood now doing donuts as well. Pearson doing donuts, and we look on over at Will Lyon, who continues to circulate there on your screen. Connor Pearson taking the win. Congratulations to Pearson. Second place goes to Soranzo. Third to Lyon, who provisionally has that championship wrapped up. Sam Blackwood in 4th, Malkorek in 5th. 6th goes to Gleason with a great race today. Andreas Eick, again, one of those races that Eick is going to step back and scratch his head and figure out how this one went from being his to not his to his to not his again. Almost your championship winner, possibly will take over 2nd, but most likely will end up 3rd in the championship for Eick. Magnus Anderson in 8th. Danny Brennan brings home a top 10. So, of course, Will Ashford and Anna will be delighted over in the chat room. Taylor Mills comes back from winning at Pocono and brings it home in a top 10 for Taylor Mills Racing. But you see those 3 cars there, 10th, 11th, and 12th for Taylor Mills Racing. And you see that 3rd place going to Will Lyon. we'll just have to see where all of this will put this team championship at the end. Of course, you can find the rest of your favorite drivers there on the screen and where they finished. But what a day for not only Connor Pearson and David Soranzo, who cemented their place as Connor Pearson now taking that win. I believe that is 8 out of 10 races this season with new winners. Different winners from 8 out of 10 races this season. Absolutely astounding stuff here in the PMRL. But ultimately, you'd have to say that the day belongs to Will Lyon, who's getting a push in there from Adam Gleason. Will Lyon taking the victory, and we will look forward to chatting with Will here in just a moment. So looking on, we're going to see if we can get everybody into the broadcast booth here in a moment. And not seeing anybody popping in. Going to have you guys join us over in the broadcast room of PMRL. So as soon as you exit your cockpits, come on over and chat with me. Of course, got to give these drivers a little bit of cool down time. It was a heck of a race. There is a lot to talk about. I would love to know from the stewards, if I can get a heads up. We're going to try to give it to you here live on the air in a moment, whether, in fact, there will be penalty points applied or whether we can consider Will Lyon to be your champion. We will find out soon enough. Stand by out there. Get a little bit of music going for you here while we wait. And, of course, we are looking forward to seeing some drivers stop by. We have now got a couple of drivers with us over in the broadcast booth, so let's go ahead and bring in Connor Pearson, your winner from today's race. It is absolutely my pleasure to welcome you. Connor, can you hear us over in your side of the broadcast booth?
I can, Truro. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Congratulations, amazing victory today. You ended up, you only had to start from second and take one position, but you got it strategically. You didn't get wrapped up in anyone else's messes, and you stayed so clean through the day. We only saw one little incident from you, and you had such a big gap built up that it was not even a problem. How did you do it? What was your secret?
It was, a lot of it was based on the starts. All 3 starts and restarts, I got the jump on everyone, and just gapping everyone and making sure every lap meant it. I was conserving my reds and making sure that I had enough tyre for each of the stints. I unfortunately ran out of tyre in my third stint and then spun at the second to last corner. Luckily collected it, and it was just damage limitation from every stint. It was just making sure every lap counted, and I got to the end very cleanly.
Well, there you go. Damage limitation and just trying to, I guess, keep your head down and stay focused. And, we've been talking about you all season as we've been watching. We've watched you and your teammate, Sam Blackwood, continue to move up in the order and just show pace increasing each and every week. You've been so close to victory. You've been so close to consistent podium finishes. Here at the final race of the season, we saw Sam Blackwood up in the top 3 for a lot of the race. It's going to bring home 4th spot, but you've taken first. Is this really the real Connor Pearson that we've seen today?
Definitely on the road courses. I think if the faster drivers didn't get collected in their own messes early in the stint, I think I would have had a much tougher time trying to keep my lead down.
Sure.
Yeah, on the road courses, I'm a bit weaker than my oval. My oval driving, I think I've shown that I'm a lot stronger, and I've just been wrapped up in incidents in every single race I've been into, be it my fault, be it others' fault. It's just what happens on ovals. You just got to be in the right place at the right time. But road courses is just learning. I came into here much weaker on roads, and I hope I've proved that I can actually win these races now when I get the chance.
Absolutely. Not only the chance, but you created a huge gap. As you said, you pulled the lead on the restarts. You did everything you needed to do. I mean, if you had replaced your name with Will Lyon or Alex Salmon, I would have thought that we were just watching those drivers do what they do every week. But here you are putting your name on it. And again, bringing up the whole team this week, staying consistent, getting great finishes. I think season 2 is really starting to look like it's in your periscope for finishing well in the championship. In the meantime, what an awesome win, and what a stellar finish for yourself and obviously for Sam.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. So we're going to see you back for season 2, right?
Yes, we are. I'm
All
already
right.
signed up.
All right. That is fantastic news to hear. Are you going to do, because we will get a broadcast between now and our first race, you going to be doing anything special? Do you think you'll be practicing the tracks with your teammate? Will you have any special practice sessions? Or are you just going to kind of wait until the race gets closer for the first race and then take it from there?
Yeah, my schedule's quite jam-packed with work, and I'm currently moving house, so it's quite a hard time trying to get practice in, but I'll try my best. And I come into these races just trying to finish each of them and get the best result I can and take the opportunities when I can. So I hope I move forward for next season.
It definitely, if today was any indication, I mean, you looked as solid as a rock out there. So that won't be much of an issue. I think we'll be seeing a heck of a championship fight next season. What did you think of your first season here in the PMRL? How was the competition? And how were the tracks? Did everything go well for you this season?
The competition, I felt, was, considering I was a midfield runner from the start of the season, it was quite a tough ordeal trying to keep up front. I obviously used my overall experience from the past to keep myself at the front, but it's definitely something I would keep doing. It's hard enough trying to keep up with everyone, let alone get a lead. And it's one of those series I can't let go.
It's almost impossible. I'm just like you. I love running the IndyCar, and it's once you start and you find that car that you really gel with, or that league that you really gel with, you just want to spend so much time practicing with it that it just sort of takes you over. But of course, you've done all kinds of cool stuff around iRacing. Anything else? Any other championships that you're working on?
This is my only official league running I do these days. I very much was a LMP1 driver back in the day. I did quite a lot of that with the own team, the second name to this team of O'Connor Moore, OCM.
Right.
But now Wyvern's my home, and this is where I'm going to stay, I think.
Lovely. Well, it sounds like you've found a great home there, and you've got good teammates to keep you company. Do you think we'll see Eric O'Connor joining us back again?
I think we'll see him for a few rounds. I think he's not a person who locks down a season very well. He likes coming in and showing off his talent very much more. But I hope to see him again, because I wish to actually race him, unlike Mid Ohio where I was stuck at the back.
Right, exactly. Well, that was quite amazing to watch Eric just come in and kind of blow everyone's doors off and then leave. But that's what you get. You get a lot of teams and drivers that do just stop in for a few races. Of course, we saw Taylor Mills stop in. She won a big race in a big way, and then this race struggled a little bit. But yeah, we'll look so much forward to seeing you next season. And for anybody else out there who's watching, again, you can join the PMRL. Just go straight to iRacing.com and look up the PMRL, Prime Meridian Racing League, and apply to the league. And you might find yourself out there racing against the winner, Connor Pearson, from today. So, Connor, any other people to thank for today? And
definitely my teammates. My teammates were helping me all the way through that race. Sam obviously kept the pace going. He was catching me in the first stint. I thought I didn't have the knack for him. Unfortunately, he made some mistakes, but he collected up very well. And I see him getting much better once he gets a bit more luck in the series. And Brennan, who is the other teammate of our team, he's suffering with quite, let's say, hurt feet from an incident with boiling water. So we hope to see him at full capacity when he gets healed properly. But he did a good showing today, considering.
Absolutely. No, we were watching Danny out there, and a great show by Danny, and just tried to get an excellent finish and ended up with a top 10. I mean, you couldn't really ask for more in your first race back.
Yeah, he did an amazing job, considering this is his only race in the last 10 weeks.
Absolutely.
I must give credit to him a lot.
Well, Connor, I appreciate you stopping by to
No
chat
problem,
with
Trevor.
us after the race, and congratulations. I hope you I hope you enjoy your celebration of this race and think about next
Yes,
season. And we'll look forward to
definitely.
seeing you in season 2.
And I look forward to speaking to you a bit more often next season, hopefully.
Absolutely. Always here if any of you guys want to drop by after the race, we'll love to
Oh,
chat with you. Thanks a lot, Connor. We'll see you next
no
season.
problem.
And
See you, Trevor.
also in just dropping into the booth here, and I'm going to take a look just before we get a chance to talk with him, still kind of wiping a little bit of sweat off of the brow. And in fact, I do have confirmation at the moment, so we'll go ahead and welcome Will Lyon to the booth. Will, can you hear me?
Hi, Trevor. How you doing?
I'm doing brilliantly, sir. I assume that you are, because not only did you really fight hard to take that podium position, and that was quite entertaining to watch, you did everything you needed to get that championship. And let's just say that it wasn't easy today. You had some definite adversity to work through. Congratulations to the first PMRL champion, Will Lyon.
Thank you very much. I don't know if it's official yet, or if the stewards are having to review stuff. It was.
I did just get confirmation. We don't know the exact points, but I did get confirmation from Vilda and the stewards that, in fact, you did take the championship over Alex Salmon in second and Andreas Ike in third, David Soranzo fourth, and Connor Pearson in fifth.
Wow. Well, with that news, yeah, just delighted. It was. Wow. I don't have any words for that. It was. It unfortunately got really messy in turn one, and I hope the show was still good, despite what happened at turn one. Unfortunately, it descended into a bit of a meme. But first of all, a big congrats to Connor. He had some really good pace today. I think he qualified second, or maybe even pole. I can't remember now, but he did really well, and David as well, getting the P2 there. They were just on a different level today. But yeah, it was. I think we've maybe won the team championship as well. I hope we have. I have to say a big shout out to Adam Gleason, who stepped in for us today. He normally drives the Formula One car, but he did a fantastic job of just keeping it steady, putting laps in, and he got a great P6 in the end. So big well done to him.
This, as I mentioned earlier, and I suppose we should just get the 800-pound gorilla out of the room. There was a big incident on lap 1. Now, take us through what happened. I'll try to cue this up from the green flag, and we'll take a look at it. Now, from your perspective, what happened in turn 1? You're in third. You're in third place, and
Yes.
take us from there.
I don't really. I mean, I remember I didn't want to go down the inside. I was conscious that Alex was there, and I had a feeling he was probably going to try and go for the overtake, which I wasn't too bothered about. I was quite happy to, be behind him at the start of the race. But I mean, he clearly braked far too late, particularly for a lap 1 as well. And I knew he was going to hit somebody, and unfortunately, I haven't actually watched it back. I can't see your pictures, but I think he maybe locked the rears. I don't know if he rebounded off the wall, but unfortunately, me and Matt were on his right hand side, and I was just crossing my fingers, hoping he was going to avoid us. But unfortunately, we both got we got basically our races turned upside down, and I tried to limp it back to the pits, but unfortunately, I think I got beached on a curb. So I went a lap down, and I actually thought I was 2 laps down. So at that
you were
point,
2 laps down at one point.
was I? I don't understand how I managed to get 2 laps back then. But yeah, I thought at that point it was all over. I almost thought F4, if I'm being honest.
Well, and that's all part of it. We'll get to that in a second. But continuing with how this all unfolded, you were 2 laps down that we saw on our timing and scoring, and then you decided not to pit under. You took damage repair on that lap 1 pit stop. Then you didn't pit under the next stop, and I think a lot of drivers did pit. You managed to get both laps back over the course of the race, and then you found yourself on the lead lap. Now, if you had been trapped a lap down, not able to get that lap back, it really, depending on the championship, the penalty points, it might have come down to where Alex had finished. And in that way, also, if you had been trapped 13th or further back, I don't know how much of the math you had done, but if you'd been trapped 13th or further back along with Alex, Andreas Eich, by nature of winning the race, could have actually taken the championship. But you did find yourself back on the lead lap. You took several repairs. You managed to salvage this one, and that's really the thing I want to talk about. So you face adversity in turn one. Now, you're coming in to fight the end of this championship and try and defend that position in being in first place, and you know that you've got to get a good finish, and yet you get wiped out in turn one. Now, you've done a lot of iRacing. How do you reprogram your brain so you don't just get upset, go on voice chat, yell, throw down your gloves, say, I'm out of this race? How do you recover from that, reset yourself, not only re-strategize and get yourself back on the lead lap, but you attack drivers in front of you, you get third place legit? I mean, Will, you ended up pulling this thing out of the dumpster fire and ended up with the podium. How do you do that?
Yeah, I think I put a couple of sarcastic comments in the text chat, but apart from that, I just I thought I might as well just keep going and see what happens. And to be honest, I was just worried about when I came out of the pits, I was in the middle of a pack, and I was worried about blue flags because you've got to give way in this league. But thankfully, I was able to sort of pull away from the people that I overtook. And then at that point, honestly, the whole race is a blur because I was just fuel saving the whole race. Because of the safety cars, I was able to do 22 lap stints rather than 21 lap stints. So I stuck on the primary tyres, and from that moment on, I fuel saved all the way to the end, which wasn't much fun. And I had Alex around me at points as well. I think I remember overtaking him at some point on the primaries. And there was other people around me as well. I can't remember who they were, but I was just meeting numbers. And when I caught up to the back end of people, I was just using the tow, lifting off down into turn one, into turn four, and just braking early into every corner, basically. So I was just looking at the fuel gauge the whole way, which doesn't sound very exciting, and it wasn't. But it was one of those instances where it was just push as hard as I could while fuel saving, which it's not fun. But we got there, and I can't believe I ended up on the podium. I have no idea how it happened. I don't know how I got the laps back either. I know I got one wave around, but I don't know where the other one came from. Legit, it's just a blur.
Well,
I'll have to watch it
back. and you did everything under your control. Again, you get wiped out lap one. There's and I feel bad for Levine as well. I mean, you've got to go back and watch the race, but he deserves a sympathy card and a bouquet of flowers from some people because he got really nailed in this race numerous times. However, played the cards right, tried to keep SMS Racing in this one, and again, it's just all about recovering, trying to keep your head down, re-strategize. You did it. Levine did it, and you find yourself not only on the podium in the final race, but also victorious in the championship. And so, I mean, obviously, you've got some celebrations planned, I'm sure.
I need to go to bed. I've got work in the morning.
Of course. Well, it's only 3:00 here in the afternoon, so I'll send you some sunshine over there, and you can just carry this energy that you have straight into work. You don't even need to sleep. It's like adrenaline, man.
Yeah.
No, but Will, that is absolutely a season of ups and downs, but you pulled it together, especially at the end of the season. We talked to you a couple of times as the victorious. So looking forward to season 2. Well, actually, to finish this season, how was your experience overall in PMRL? Did you enjoy it? Did you like the competition? You like the tracks? Is it something you would encourage people to get into for next season?
Yeah, for sure. I think if you like fast cars, you like single seaters, and you live in Europe, it's a really good league. I think the competition. I would say to anyone who watched this race, don't think that's what it's like every week. It's normally really clean, and the competition has been great. I know a couple of the people as well. We've we've raced each other in prototypes before, and it's been great to battle with them once again. And I think it's been, considering it's the first season, it was incredibly well organized. And I think the track variation was great. You had road tracks, you had street, you had ovals. It was, it's one of the best things about the IndyCar is just how diverse the car is and how diverse the racing is. And I would encourage anyone who's thinking about it, jump on.
Absolutely. And then looking forward to next season, this season I thought we were watching earlier that it was going to be Alex Salmon's season. It just seemed like with a couple of wins and just really sharp at the front, it was going to be Alex Salmon that was going to take this one. But it started to evolve. You especially started coming forward a lot more towards the middle of the season, bringing the heat really at the end of the season, and Alex Salmon's pace dropping off just a little bit. Then going forward to next season, what do you think about for season 2? Do you have any strategy plans, knowing this season is in the bag? Are you going to do anything different next season? Will you be practicing the tracks much ahead of time with your teammates, trying to sharpen up? You're just going to take the month of September off and wait for October?
I mean, I'm going to do the same thing that I did last time, and that's play Project Cars 2. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. That game teaches you everything you need to know. And maybe one day we'll get rain in iRacing and we can transfer those skills over as well.
Oh, it's coming.
Well, hopefully it's in time for some part of the PMRL. To be honest, I'll just be waiting to see what happens week 13. I think the IndyCar is getting a tyre update on the road courses. So it'll be quite interesting to see how that works. Apparently it's going to be a little bit more forgiving, which probably doesn't suit me. I'm not a naturally quick guy over one lap. I'm more of a steady, slow and steady kind of driver. And the way that these tires fall off probably helps me in the long run. I'm not very quick at the start of stints, but towards the end, I don't have maybe quite as much drop off as other people. But we'll just wait and see. The schedule looks really good for next season. We're maybe recruiting somebody else for the team as well, who I've got to be honest with you, is usually quicker than me. So it could be even more competition at the front. So and regardless of what happened today, I think it's a shame it ended the way it did. But I think Alex was, he was on a different level at the start of the season in particular. I remember at Watkins Glen, the first race of the season. I mean, he just drove into the distance, and we were like 20 seconds behind. So he's got a lot of pace. And I'm sure if he's back for another season, he'll be right there at the top again.
Well, you heard from the master of tire management himself, Will Lyon, taking the championship, taking third position here, taking another couple of victories during the season. Will go forward, and perhaps in season 2 we might have rain. We might have a totally new tire model. Whatever it takes to keep these drivers on their toes and having to recalculate and keeps this competition. Thank you so much, Will, for providing us with great competition out there, bringing your A game every week. It's been a pleasure to watch you, and congratulations on your championship.
Thanks, Trevor, and thanks for all the great work you do on the broadcast. I can't imagine how difficult it is on your own to work out what's going on all the time and getting all the replays. You've done a cracking job, and it's always really enjoyable to watch the races back the following day. So thanks for all your efforts as well.
Absolutely.
And thanks to the admins. We've all been critical of their penalties and stuff that they've given out this season, but as I say, overall they've done a fantastic job with this league.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I say the same. Congratulations to obviously all of the competitors. It was fantastic to watch so many great talented individuals and teams coming together to fight for this championship. And then obviously the admins have their jobs cut out for them. There's a lot of incidents that happen mid and back of the pack, very difficult things to assign penalty points to, but they learn and grow. We all learn and grow as we go forward, and we try to make the right calls. And by the time we do the 10th season and Will Lyon is working on multiple championships, I think we'll have this all figured out. But hey, Will, I'll let you get off to bed. I know you got to get to work tomorrow. I guess you're not going to just take that $1 million and go to Vegas or something.
Yeah, but, if only I could quit my job, yeah.
Well, congratulations. We'll see you next season, and enjoy that big championship trophy.
Thanks, Trevor. Catch you next time.
All right. So, Will Lyon, your champion for PMRL, joining us. And this was just an absolute pleasure to bring you coverage of the PMRL this season. If you missed any of the races, of course, we have them on our YouTube channel now and forever archived. You can go back, relive all the great moments of this season. It was an up and down one from the moment we took over on round 3 at Road America all the way through the finale here at Interlagos. No idea who was going to be the champion. And so that is going to bring our coverage of today's race to a close. It was, again, my absolute pleasure, Trevor Greenfield, to bring you all of the races here for Prime Meridian Racing League, starting from round 3. And we will be back with you for Season 2 coming up here in October. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel for VirtualRacing.Network. And we're also over on Twitter, along with the official PMRL. They're also on Twitter. We're Virtual Racing N. And then we're also on Facebook, so you can hook up with us that way. In the meantime, like this video, please subscribe, and you'll get notified of all of the future upcoming races, not just for this season, but the US IndyCar League and the IndyCar iRacing series, as well as a couple more series that we're yet to announce. So stay tuned on for that. And we'll look forward to talking to you again soon. It'll be October before you know it, and we'll be bringing you Season 2. So for myself and on behalf of all of the competitors and the administration staff here at VirtualRacing.Network, I'd love to thank all of the winners, the competitors, and all of you out there who watched us all season over on VirtualRacing.Network on the YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in live and checking it out later on. We'll catch you next time in October for Season 2. Stay tuned. Till then, bye-bye, everyone. Have a great month off.